Good night, friends. How are you? Today we're going to have live discussing the most recent immigration news. I'm going to be providing updates to you with regard to various situations, various news that happened within this past week. We're going to discuss Trump's administration plans on hosting immigrants and United States citizens as well in foreign countries' prisons. We're going to talk about what happened with Birthright Citizenship situation. We're going to talk about a new executive memo restoring death penalty on a federal level. And of course, we're going to talk about pending benefits situation, what you need to keep in mind if you have pending benefits. You applied for a U visa, you applied for VAWA, for example, and anything else you would like to talk about. So please join me. Let me know where you're watching from. Prepare your questions, please. We're going to also talk about something that's important for you specifically, because in the end, I'm going to be answering your guys' questions, of course, as always. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. On my social media channels, I regularly share immigration news and tips with regard to the most interesting, pressing immigration situations in the United States. And I'll just provide some guidelines for you guys, or guidance, yes. What to do in this very stressful time, because the times are very stressful. I know I receive tons of emails from clients and just inquiries. People say that they cannot sleep. They're afraid as to what's going to happen. And just to help you guys out, to try to understand better together with you as to what's happening, hosting this live shows. So welcome. And again, don't forget to like and share this stream. If you watch me on YouTube, please send your likes. On Facebook, send your stars. On TikTok, guys, the best viewers, very, very active. Thank you very much for your gifts, and thank you very much for your hearts. And let's start. A lot to discuss. You've seen these developments. Something unprecedented happened when Trump administration recently announced that they're seriously discussing with leaders of foreign countries such as El Salvador and Guatemala, not the safest countries in the world, that Trump's administration is going to be sending immigrants, aliens, who they will apprehend during the raids, to be kept in those prisons, in the prisons in foreign countries. I have no idea what legal authority is under this move, supporting this move. I'm not aware of any laws that would give the government of the United States power to remove a person who is in the United States, not to their own country, but to a third country. Never heard of it. But apparently there are serious discussions about that. We also already are seeing that Trump administration started sending certain immigrants to Guantanamo Bay, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is actually a Cuban territory. But of course, I can be mistaken. I know that there is a military base there, and it's not enjoying particular friendly reputation. I'm sure all of you are aware as to who was kept in those facilities previously and what was happening to them, right? So this whole thing is very, very puzzling, and mostly probably, more than anything, it's a very well-structured PR campaign to terrify people who are here without status, to encourage them to leave on their own, right? Because in a recent interview to some large news channel, Tom Holman Bodazar did state that they're arresting about 1,500 people per day or per week. If you try to transfer these numbers on a yearly basis, it seems it's going to take the government several years to try to deport even a small number of people who government is identifying as people without status in the United States, right? So I guess the main purpose of moves like this, like the ones where they say that I'm going to be sending you to El Salvador if you don't leave on your own, is really to encourage people to live on their own rather than anything else. But nevertheless, we're discussing it because many of you are terrified, and I'm sure that some people sooner or later will be sent to El Salvador or Guatemala, because it seems nothing is impossible in this particular environment. Even though I truly believe that the federal courts are going to stop that practice if it will be started sooner or later, just like it happened with Birthright Citizenship executive order. We did receive some good news this week that a federal judge said, no, you're not going to be with an executive order determining who is a citizen and who is not in the United States, right? Maybe some of you seen this news. I've been publishing, of course, these updates on my social media. That's actually good news, especially for expecting mothers. I know that many expecting mothers were super stressed out as to what's going to happen with their babies. Imagine all of a sudden the law is changing, you're pregnant, and they tell you that the baby is not a citizen. Well, in addition to everything else, you'll have to pay out-of-pocket expenses for the kid born in the United States because Medicaid will no longer be covering them. And the whole thing will just be a chaos. It's just going to be a chaos. So a federal judge stated that for now, up until the case is fully resolved, that executive order is not going into effect. Okay, a birthright executive order, which I think is a very positive news. Now, extremely important update. Absolute majority of you will never have to deal with this in their lifetime. But this update is important because it takes sort of a step back in development of, I would say, the whole, the entire way the society is dealing with the crime and punishment, if I would have to put it in a simple words, in the United States. So there is this memo that was published on February 5th, 2023, directing federal government to restore death penalty. This was done after Trump's executive orders that were issued on day one of his presidency, saying that for certain crimes now in the United States, they will be practicing again federal death penalty. And this memo is reviving the practice and directs prosecutors to seek death penalty in case of certain crimes being committed, including crimes committed by immigrants, all right? Including crimes committed by immigrants. And most of those crimes involve unaliving law enforcement officer. Due to certain restrictions, I cannot pronounce certain words. It's not that I'm trying to be smart, it's just that I can't because of the way the social media is working. Crimes involving distribution of large amounts of controlled substances, trafficking, and some other capital offenses. Well, food for thought. As I said, 99.99999% of immigrants will never have to deal with it. But generally speaking, this is, I see as a step back in the development of the way society is addressing the issue of the death penalty as a whole. When I went to law schools, be it in the United States or back in my country of Belarus, all our professors were teaching us that this particular punishment is usually should be avoided in the society, even though sometimes it's very hard considering circumstances, to argue that the person doesn't deserve it. All right. But this is a new development. And again, it's worth discussing it because it sets the tone for everything else that is happening in the United States right now. Okay. One more important update I need to share with you concerns pending benefits. Very important. Some of you do not have anything pending, right? You're open to the enforcement. But some of you guys do have something pending, like you are considering filing, or you filed for a U visa, you're considering filing, or you filed for VAWA, and you're worried as to what's going to happen to you, right? So again, there are a number of memos issued. Some of them are considered to be like secret memos that got leaked, and some of them are published, addressing this particular situation, directing ICE enforcement as to what to do, how to handle cases of people who have either something pending or who are identified as victims of crimes. All right. So according to these memos, one important thing that you need to know, if a person is a beneficiary of a pending VAWA, this by itself no longer going to stop civil enforcement. So you still can be placed in removal proceedings despite the fact that you have a pending VAWA. That's what the memo says. But the memo also says that the officer should exercise their discretion as to what to do in particular case based on particular facts. Okay. Then there is a memo saying that if a person is a victim of a crime, if during the civil enforcement ICE encounters a person like that, they will no longer actively going to try to ask them, are they a victim of crime or not? The person themselves have to volunteer this information. And after that, ICE is going to consult with lawyers, government lawyers, as to what to do with the person. Depending on evidence and depending on the stage of the person's case, they will be making a decision as to what to do with you. What are the stages of your potential case? Well, you may be a victim, but you didn't file anything, so nothing is pending. You may be a victim and you filed something, so a case is pending, but you haven't received a bona fide determination, or maybe you already received a bona fide determination, or maybe you are even on a waiting list for the U visa, or U visa is approved. Those are different stages. So depending on that stage, they will be deciding what to do with you. They will also not going to ask USCIS anymore to expedite your case. In other words, coupled with the other memos that we have, if you just filed your case, potentially ICE decides to proceed with a civil enforcement against you, placing you, let's say, in removal proceedings, and the bulletin shows that your visa availability is far from today. I'm talking about the U visas. They may potentially just proceed with the removal against you rather than giving you time to for the USCIS to go through your case and see if they approve or deny it, make a decision on the case. So this is something to know. I know it adds stress, but it also tells me this important thing. If you do have something pending, please make sure that you have copies of the receipts with you, okay? That may actually save you from being actually detained or arrested. Very important. Make sure you have those receipts. You don't need to have originals, but you should have copies. It's very, very important. If you are a victim of a crime or you have an opportunity to file for VAWA, file it, please. Don't sit and wait until all the deadlines pass. Remember that in certain situations, there are deadlines to file for VAWA. And there are no deadlines to file for U visa. However, for the U visa, you do need to have a U visa certification signed by the law enforcement. And if too much time passes from the accident, from the occurrence, then the law enforcement may just deny you the visa certification, saying they no longer have any records to help you out. So the sooner you file your case, the sooner you're going to take care of your case, the better for you. And now, guys, if you have questions, I will be happy to answer them. I know that there are too many questions. I know that there's too much information online. It's very, very, very difficult to deal with everything, but we're trying to sort it out one by one, okay? Oh, one more important thing, guys, that I didn't share the last time with you when I was going through these different memos that were published with regard to the work of the court. By the way, good update. The government caught up on the error and today allowed service from the prosecutors by electronic means, which is great. But also, in one of the memos that I was citing the last time, in the end, it says that asylum clock is not going to run on any appeal, during any appeal. So if you're filing your case for asylum, you're losing it with a judge. The judge is denying your case and you're appealing it. Your asylum clock is going to stop on the day when the judge is making the decision. Of course, it's only important if less than 180 days pass, accumulated by the time the judge makes decision on your case. But nevertheless, it's very important that this particular provision now is going to be in effect. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go through questions. Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for your stars. Hi, Danny. I received green card last week. Congratulations through marriage, but still have a pending asylum. Should I drop off the case or should I wait? What would be the benefit for you to proceed with your asylum case? You decide this. The law allows you to do that, but most likely there is just no practical meaning anymore for you to pursue your asylum case, right? Hi, Shigal from Houston. I hope you're doing great. Hi, Mr. Patel. Hi, Sherry. How hard is it to get ICE to sign a motion to reopen if you have a permanent bar, but are inside the United States and now married to an American citizen? ICE is not signing those motions. Those are signed by Office of, or OPLA, we call it. It's a government lawyer. ICE is the police. They're not signing those motions. That should be the OPLA. How hard it is? Now they do not agree to anything, unless you have some very, very compelling circumstances, I guess. But as a matter of policy, OPLA is no longer signing OPLA, no longer signing Office of Chief Counsel, something. They're no longer signing, guys, no longer joining motions to reopen, right? You need to know that. All right. And I'm not going to be commenting on the permanent bar situation because that's something that you probably need to address in private with an attorney, all right? Hi, is it possible to open a case with a final deportation order, deported in absentia? Lawyer filed a motion to reopen after 30 days, received final order of removal based on the lateness. You know what? If you did file a motion to reopen, you have a good chance of, and you file it timely, it seems, because you were just late to court, you have a good chance of having that reopened, okay? Depending on the circumstances, the judge is going to look into circumstances, what happened, how soon after you learned about the deportation, you filed that motion to reopen. It's also very important. You know, once, long time ago, I had a silly situation where the judge said something, no, the court sent a notice to us saying that there will be, there was a practice of some sort of, how to say, check-in dates. It was not clear if the client has to appear or not, and lawyers thought at that time that the check-in date wasn't for appearance, and I thought that too. And then I received this order of removal. I was terrified. I sent to the court a motion saying, I don't know, why do you say that we missed something? We never missed anything to this date. And this check-in date was a new thing, and everybody thought that you don't have to appear, including the courts at the beginning. So, of course, the judge reversed the decision. It was addressed properly and fast. I mean, still, it was very stressful, of course. Who knows what can happen? But what I gathered from that is that if you react to this absentia order fast enough within the statutory time, and you have a reasonable explanation as to what happened. Let's say you were stuck on the subway, right? And you just couldn't physically reach the immigration court because of some kind of an accident. Then I'm sure the judge is going to take it into consideration. All right. And if you've never been late before, if you never missed your court day before, I think you'll be fine. Also, I do not know, did your lawyer show up and explain what happened, like how it all, evolved, how it all resulted in this missing of the date of the court? Hopefully everything will be fine. All right. Usually the judges, like they do have reasonable approach. All right. One question, my I-130 approved, married with a US citizen 2017. I came here in 2011. I don't have I-94. What's the next step? What should I do? Well, I guess you're filing for I-601A, right? If you're not inadmissible on any other grounds, then you guys will wait for the NVC, National Visa Center, to send you that invoice for a visa fee, and then you're going to proceed with I-601A waiver. All right. Hi, friends from TikTok. Let's see what questions you've got for me today. Do you guys, hopefully you're not going to fall asleep. Come on, come on. Hi, user 384. I have a removal order on asylum and VAWA case approved. Motion to reopen BIA was pending. Am I safe? Are you safe? Usually, a pending motion is better than nothing. So you do have a VAWA approved. It's in your favor. Most likely you have some sort of a deferred action, right? You have a work permit. So if I had to guess, I would say that if the government sees that you have approval for your VAWA and work permit, they're not going to do anything with you until your motion is decided, okay? Hopefully it will be decided in your favor. Chian, after 30 years, can my friends apply for adjustment from D1 since kids here are over 25? C1D visa, that's what it is? No, guys, there is a direct prohibition on adjustment if you entered as a crew member. Why wouldn't your friends consult with an attorney? Sometimes there is a mistaken designation of in the passport as to how the person is entering the United States, and then they can adjust. But if there is no mistake and it's C1D, then they will have to seek a waiver. Kids, however, are not qualifying relatives for I-601A waiver. You need to know that. Oh, gosh. I have a removal order. Okay, we got that. Can you apply for the green card when you win the lottery and you're always in the United States? If you always maintain lawful non-immigrant status by the time you get adjustment of status based on the green card lottery, then of course. But most of the people, they don't have that. If they've been in the United States for a long time, most of the time, it means they do not have that lawful non-immigrant status anymore. Hi, just for fun. Currently, your family member is detained in Louisiana, waiting for credible fear interview results. It would be good if an attorney could speak to your family member, right? I'm sorry to hear that, but they really need some guidelines, some preparation. It would be great if a lawyer could, talk to them and explain to them the procedure and what the officers are looking for, all right? If they have a chance, things like that. I have a removal order on asylum. Yes. Some questions on TikTok, like getting duplicated million times. I don't know why. All right, let's see. Hello, Mr. Patel. I had applied for initial EED and received receipt dated 15th, $0, receipt dated 17th of January. Please, how long will it take to receive work permit and social? What is your category of for your work permit? I'm not sure. Are you a victim of VAWA? That's why you were not charged, perhaps. How long is it going to take? If everything goes well, within 6 months, all right, you should get it. That's what should happen. All right, let's see. Cubans sent to China or Russia. I don't think China or Russia is going to be taking anybody, I'll be honest. All right, let's see what else we have. Mm-hmm. All right. Lots of Trump supporters today. Yes, thank you guys for your comments, all right? I think that they raise the popularity of the chat, but you also have to understand that the situation with immigration in the United States is not that simple. The problem is that the United States has always been a country of immigrants, attracting immigrants, country that would be in favor of immigrants. However, in the past 3 or 4 decades, the issue of legal immigration has not been fully addressed. People just there is no avenue for the people who are good people to get status, and almost very narrow circumstances apply, and it's a big problem because the government, I guess, the economy wants immigrants to work here and attracts them, but at the same time doesn't take care of them in terms of the legal status, doesn't provide any avenue. So there is this conflict between the needs of the economy and business and society and the laws. And the conflict has to be resolved by the Congress, but they're not doing anything. I don't know why. You know, I have no idea why it's happening like this for such a long time, because that's becoming like a number one issue, you know. How long does a VAWA take? I already received my work permit. I'm from Mexico. 2.5 years usually. 2.5 years is going to take you to get a VAWA, okay? Can a resident with any felonies, any problem, travel out of the country to enter the United States again? No, happy and blessed. If you are a green card holder and you have a felony conviction, do not leave the United States. Do not do it. Why? Because when you're traveling back to the United States, they will allow you to enter, but they're going to take your green card back and place you in removal proceedings, okay? All right. Hi, Andy from New Jersey. Can Trump shut down U visa? If he does, what happens with previously submitted applications? I don't think he can do that. Why? Because it's there is a law talking about the U visas, why the U visas are being given. There is a special act by Congress, the law passed. So executive order cannot change that. And I don't think he's going to go after U visa people. All right. Hi, Jamie. If the country of origin won't accept them, and if they're criminals, they're sent to the prisons in other countries, the U.S. will send federal American prisoners to other states as well. Yes, that's what they're saying. But I'm not aware of any law that would allow the United States to do that. It's just bizarre. But listen, we'll see what's going to happen, right? Hi, Armani. What about pending adjustment of status through a U.S. citizen? U.S. should be fine. As long as you're not inadmissible, you should be able to get your adjustment of status, right? How long the OPLA is going to take to respond to PD? Guys, they're not granting any PDs anymore. Prosecutorial discretion requests, they just don't. But if you do believe you have a chance or you submitted it prior and you believe you have a chance, give them 90 days. If they don't respond within 90 days, then follow up with them. That's how it works. All right. Hi, Shabir. I have a bona fide EED in a U visa and the U visa pending. Can I be saved as a missed part of video? Okay. You would like to know if you're safe, if you have bona fide determination and work permit based on a U visa pending. I spoke about the fact that the government is going to take it into consideration they're going to consult with an attorney. And I guess depending on the reasons for the civil enforcement, they will be deciding what to do with you, okay? If you didn't do anything and there is no criminal record, then you have a chance of receiving the benefits that you filed for. I think they will not be trying to remove you. It's just waste of resources, okay? Hi, user 534. My brother has a residence card and a nice custody. He has a minor drug charge. Can he get bail? Minor drug charge, or maybe a crime related to controlled substance. If it doesn't qualify for any exception, then he may be subject to mandatory detention, depending on what the charge is, okay? So what you need to do, you need to take his criminal record and show it to an immigration lawyer. They will be able to tell you if he's going to be eligible for bail or not. Can you please tell me the time for immediate relative I-45 in New York? About 8 to 9 months. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you guys very much for your questions and your hearts and stars and your gifts. Let me see. We have more questions. Tell me time for parents' green card. Right, 8 to 9 months, I would say, guys. All right. Hi, Shinda. ICE can arrest anyone, even he has EED or Social Security and pending case in court, and he entered the United States in November 2022. Can ICE arrest a person who's been here for less than or entered after November 2022? Guys, ICE may arrest a green card holder. ICE may arrest, in theory, a US citizen under certain circumstances. What's going to happen to a person who is arrested? Whether they will be placed in expedited removal proceedings, administrative removal proceedings, or regular removal proceedings. This is going to be determined depending on the facts of the case. What the person is guilty of, how long they've been in the United States, what they filed for, what chances they have to prevail on that filing, all right? So in theory, ICE can arrest anybody, all right? All right, pending asylum, expedited can, okay. Let's see. Pending asylum, expedited can get green card. Hi, Hussein. I'm not sure what the question is. Please, if you rephrase it, I probably will be able to help you better. Hi, Kiss. How can I know that my asylum was accepted? Well, that's kind of simple. If you filed your asylum through USCIS, you're going to receive asylum filed receipt. Receipt confirming that your asylum case was filed. If you filed it online, you get it immediately. If you filed it by paper, you're going to get it usually within 30 to 60 days, okay? If you filed your asylum case in court, same thing. The system, if you filed it electronically, is going to confirm that it was accepted, all right? If you filed it by paper, usually you request a stamped copy to be sent back to you. So that's how you know that your case was filed, was accepted, all right? Hi, Linda. My husband was deported without any bar or ban. We live in Mexico now. I'm an American citizen. If he was deported, there is an automatically 10-year ban on coming back to the United States if the paperwork was done for him. If he was just pushed back, again, you need to check if the paperwork was done. Sometimes it's done electronically and person doesn't really didn't understand what was happening. So you need to make sure that truly he didn't receive an order of removal against him, okay? It's very important. And if you would like to, you can start the process of trying to bring your husband back legally. But before you do that, please order a copy of your husband's immigration file. FOIA, it's called, Freedom of Information Act request. You're going to file, okay? All right, let me see if we have more questions. So many. Hello, how are you? I'm Petro from Ukraine, but stationed in the fort line. Hi, Petro. Hopefully everything is good with you. Hi, Ashley. Can I renew my Venezuelan passport at the Colombian embassy in the United States? I'll be honest, I do not know if Colombian embassy is, doing that. I just do not know. I'm dealing with the U.S. immigration questions. How can I get an American passport for my daughter born overseas? Oh, that's quite simple, actually. If you are a U.S. citizen and everything was in order in terms of automatic citizenship qualifications, you would just have to contact U.S. Citizen, U.S. consulate, I'm sorry, in the country where the child is, and they will assist you to obtaining U.S. citizen passport for the child. They're going to issue a document called Certificate of U.S. Citizen being born abroad. That's what's going to happen. So just contact the U.S. consulate, okay? Hi, Carol. Are you in danger if you have a final order of removal but also have DACA? Not while you have DACA. While you have DACA, you have deferred action, so you do not need to worry about being removed. Once the DACA is canceled or expired and you didn't renew it, then it's a problem, okay? Hi, Jack. How long OPLA will take to respond in New York City after submitting August 2024 VAWA approved? Jack, if they haven't responded, I'm sorry, I'm afraid they will not join the request anymore, okay? Unless something changed, because during the first week of Trump administration, the prosecutors just said, no, we're withdrawing as a matter of policy all consents to all reopen requests and all other requests. So you have to consult with an attorney, your lawyer, ask them to follow up with the government, see what their position is. Hi, Mr. Kaur. Everyone's saying that the asylum seekers who have applied for asylum case in the last 2 years might be dismissed without giving them any chance for reappeal. Is it true or false? They can be dismissed without giving a chance to refiling? Well, for that to be dismissed, the government have to file a motion to dismiss. Is it possible? In theory, yes. But then what they're going to do with you? They will be placing you in expedited removal proceedings. Sure, but then what's going to happen? After that, you have a chance of asking for asylum again. In expedited proceedings, you have a chance to ask for asylum as well. However, the process is different. So if you have a weak asylum claim, very weak asylum claim, it's going to be cut off at the initial stage of the initial inquiry in expedited removal proceedings. And that's how people are getting deported fast. Not because they, automatically being deported. They cannot deport you automatically if you express fear of being sent back to your home country. It's just that the inquiry is very limited. It takes place very fast. And there is no opportunity for you to really address negative determination effectively in the expedited removal proceedings. So is it possible that may happen? Possible. I have not heard of cases like this yet. All right. I know, just to add another paranoia to already paranoid immigration community. All right. Let me see. Thank you, guys. If we detained, hi Andy, if we detained by ICE, are we able to ask to see the judge to get adjudication for your case? It depends on the circumstances, right? You're detained by ICE, it means that you're not free to leave. You're arrested by ICE, it means they grabbed you and they putting you into detention. That's what you're referring to, right? Are you able to see the judge? Depends on the circumstances. To see the judge, in terms of being placed in regular removal proceedings, you have to be not being a subject of expedited removal proceedings or administrative removal. you should not be having a final order of deportation, or if you do, you are asking, let's say, for withholding of removal. So depending on what proceedings you're going to be placed in, what you're going to be filing for, if you can qualify for that, that will determine what route out of various routes you're going to be going through in terms of immigration system in the United States. All right? So most of you will be able to see the judge because most of you are going to be subjected to regular 240 removal proceedings. And you, in those proceedings, will be able to file for all kind of forms of reliefs you may qualify for, such as adjustment of status, cancellation of removal, VAWA cancellation of removal if you qualify for that, asylum, withholding of removal, relief under Convention Against Torture. Some of you may qualify for some exotic reliefs, not so popular. If you are in expedited removal proceedings here, your seeing of the judge is very limited. You are dealing with immigration officers mostly, and you are detained unless the government will issue parole for you, which they already said they're not going to be issuing to everybody. If you're in administrative removal proceedings, your life is tough because it's very different. It's for those who are convicted of an aggravated felony, and the proceedings are super fast, faster than expedited removal, and pretty much you don't have any defenses because they issue a notice saying that they're going to be removing you, and you have like literally very short amount of time. I think 18 days or maybe shorter. There is like a very funny number of days, 15 or 18 days, to respond to this notice to say it's incorrect. Okay, that's what it is. If you entered the United States on a visa waiver program and ICE grabbed you, you don't have an opportunity to see the judge. All right, that's how it works. So this is what's happening with all of this detention and processing of the people. It's for every person, it's going to be unique. If you will be placed in any of these pipes also depends on if you have a case pending or not, right? As I discussed at the beginning of the presentation, if you do have a pending case, depending on the stage of the case, ICE may choose not to do anything with you, even now, just to save up the resources and use them for somebody else. And then, of course, the way you entered the United States, when you entered, your family members, if you're a victim of a crime, will determine possibilities of relief. Okay, that's how it works. It's extremely, extremely complicated. I have to tell you, it's not easy to deal with all of that. So immigration lawyers right now are overwhelmed, overtired. Everybody who's calling them is also overwhelmed and tired. So it's like a lot of tension in the immigration community because of that. So be nice to your lawyer, okay? Remember that, to be nice to your immigration lawyer. Hi, Majin Boo. I lost my asylum in court. I'm sorry to hear that. Will they come to my house? I have a felony identity theft. Have you filed for an appeal? Are you trying to address your criminal conviction in any way, filing motion to reopen, things like that, to pardon? Will they? I cannot tell you for sure, but can they? Yes, they can. All right. Yes, they can. Unfortunately, you're this ideal candidate for removal. You have criminal conviction and you have a final order of removal. Now, if you do have certain grounds for to ask to stop the removal, you're trying to address the basis for your removal, you're trying to address the criminal conviction, again, consult with the immigration lawyer, see if a motion to reopen can be filed for this conviction. Then, even with a final order of removal, you can file an application for administrative stay or removal with ICE. Okay, but then you say identity theft. They see the word theft. Well, it's an identity theft. Is it the subject to Lake and Raleigh Act? I don't know. They said theft crime of theft. So I guess they may say that it is, all right? Then it's mandatory detention. It's not fun. If there is a mandatory detention, nobody can take you out. The only way you can get out of the mandatory detention is they keep you for 90 days and they cannot physically deport you to your home country because they're not taking you. After 90 days, they have to redetermine your custody and see if they still want to keep you or not. But that's how it goes, right? Hi, Lena. I entered the United States with I-94 and currently have DACA. What options do I have for obtaining a green card? I am not married and do not have a work sponsor. Currently have DACA. What options do I have for obtaining a green card? You may not have any options if you're not married and there is no one there who can file for petition for you. If you don't qualify for self-petition, guys, not everybody has an option. Not for everyone there is a solution. Sometimes there is none. All right. Without knowing more, Juan, unfortunately, I can't really consult you. Your situation is probably is better fit for in-person consultation with a lawyer, where you can see, answer questions about your family members, if they ever been sponsored by anyone, and you may be able to benefit from that sponsorship. If you've ever been a victim of a crime, if there is a potential for self-filing, some of you guys who have DACA, you may be able to qualify for EB2 national interest waiver under certain circumstances. Things like that, all right? Also, maybe there is something else out there, but again, this is not really a consultation type of communications that we have here. Here, I'm just giving you like little tips in what direction to explore further to try to see if there is a solution. But the truth is, not everybody has a solution, right? Hi, Olivia. Can I travel out of the United States with a 2-year green card? Yes, you are able to use your conditional green card for international travel. Just remember also, do not stay out of the United States for more than 6 months because that will raise a concern at the border whether or not you abandoned your green card status, all right? Do the permanent residents have the same rights as citizens? In terms of what? It depends. Of course, permanent residency is not U.S. citizenship. Sometimes the same rights will be available to permanent residents as U.S. citizens when we talk about constitutional rights, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment rights. But U.S. citizens have far more opportunities in terms of employment, voting, sitting on a jury, traveling and staying out of the country for as long as they want to, sponsoring certain family members that green card holders may not. So if you have an opportunity to file for citizenship, absolutely do that, right? Green card holders also can be deported. If a green card holder makes a mistake, criminal charges are filed against them. They may be deported, guys, okay? Citizens hopefully cannot be deported. But now they're talking about deportation of citizens, right? Sending them to Guatemala and El Salvador. That will be a deportation of US citizens. Very, very interesting move. And I do not know, maybe some criminal defense attorneys are going to be watching that. I know that there are certain rules as to where a criminal has to be housed, has to be serving that term. I know that there are rules like that. So I wonder how federal government is going to justify sending somebody who has family, sending them out of the United States to El Salvador so that they will not be able to ever see their family members. I have no idea. We're going to see how it's all going to, take shape, all right? Hi, Lapusa. Will TPS be canceled for Ukrainians? Will it be canceled? I have no such information. may or can it be canceled? Sure, yes. But a federal notice will have to be published, and the courts and nobody, for that to happen, first of all, they have to publish a federal notice in the registry, and also no organization, no interested person should file a federal lawsuit asking for an injunction. Under those circumstances, TPS will be terminated, yes. Okay, but very often when the government wants to terminate TPS for a country, which country conditions are for sure not well, like they have not been improved, then there is a great chance that the federal court is going to stop such termination of the TPS, just like we saw during the first Trump's administration. It happened already, all right? Are any states being targeted more than others? You're referring to ICE raids? It's hard to say. I can tell from what I see in the news, because nobody reports to me. I'm just an immigration lawyer. I think there is statistics published by ICE. I think it's very much nationwide enforcement. They're mostly addressing right now people related to gangs. Well, that's what I've noticed, right? There was this huge raid in Denver, but that raid was mainly focusing on members of the same gang. And that's why they were raiding apartment buildings where, according to the information, members of that criminal organization were residing. So that's what happened there. High secretive person entered the United States on an F1 visa and filed for asylum. Do they have deportation possibly? Can they be deported? Of course, they can be placed in deportation proceedings once the government either is going to revoke their F1 status, or the person is losing their F1 status and their asylum application is denied at the interview, and then they're placed in removal proceedings, okay? So that's how it works. Well, guys, thank you very much for your attendance today and your questions. Thank you for signing up for my TikTok channel and YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to provide more updates as they are available and confirmed. There are also rumors, by the way, of different kinds that are just rumors. It's important to verify your information before you're going to start acting on it. Like I had a client saying, oh, they said they're going to be taking US citizen kids away from immigrant parents. I'm ready to pack up my suitcase. No, this is just not the case, okay? It's different. It's not that the government is going to come and take your kid away. It doesn't work like that. If you're detained and there is nobody who is going to be watching after your kid, then the child is going to be, of course, placed under guardianship. So why you're going to wait for that? You can always go to family court where you reside and ask the judge to appoint, it's free, ask the judge to appoint a standby guardian for your children. So you don't have to worry that, God forbid, something happens to you, the kids are going to go through foster care. But nobody's going to grab your kids and punish you for being illegal here, right? That's just not true, okay? So just remember that some of the information that you read online is just not true. I am personally not aware of any cases where a person with a pending asylum application in court is going to be detained. Personally, I do not know anybody. I've heard that there were some people who were waiting for their hearings. They had orders of supervision and they got arrested. And it happened, according to rumors again, because those people violated their order of supervision by not leaving the updated address with ICE. They resided in one place, but ICE had a different address for them. So they violated the terms of order of supervision. They got arrested. I've heard that, not seen these cases personally. So again, before you're going to become paranoid, all right, consult with an attorney as to what may happen to you in your situation, rather than making any decisions based on what you read, what you see online. It may be absolutely mistaken, like taken out of the content, this information piece that you're going to be reading. It may not apply to you. So just be careful before you're going to start, acting on this TikTok videos. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I hope everybody's going to have a safe weekend. Don't forget to like and share this video. And I hope to see you soon.